Hey.
Hey.
You're listening to episode 78 of... What are we doing here again?
Fresh Floppies.
Fresh Floppies. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
How much do I love you?
What's up to our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the Geek Nation? Welcome to Fresh Floppies, a show wherein Noel...
Me.
And I, Johnny Destructo, JD, of JD's Hero Complex, which is a comic shop. You should come to it. It's in Maniac. It's in Philadelphia. You love it. We talk about comic books that are coming out new Comic Book Wednesday. Every Wednesday, if you don't know, is New Comic Book Day. A lot of people are surprised to find this out. People come in, they're like, they still make comics? They do. They come out on Wednesdays. There's a bunch of them.
I imagine when they come in and be like, oh, they still make comics? You just gesticulate around you.
Yeah.
Like with your arms. Like
It's tough for me to not respond like a jerk
sarcastically
sometimes.
as humanly possible?
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the door.
Yeah.
It's on the sign.
Yeah, you're looking at them.
Yeah.
You're holding one in your hand.
So these are new?
Yeah.
Absolutely they are.
And what we do here on Fresh Floppies is we discuss a bunch of the books, a handful, a smattering, a skosh of books, and we don't spoil them, but we do give our initial thoughts on them. How about that?
Yeah, so when you do stumble on a curb and
trip
roll into a comic shop and you wonder, like, are these new?
Yeah.
One, yes. And two, we're going to help you decide maybe which ones to pick up and check out.
For sure. Let's start with a new number one.
A brand new number one, an all new number one.
All new Venom number one, legacy numbering 240 by Al Ewing and Carlos Gomez.
Do you think this is just going to be 10 issues and then it'll go to 250 renumbering?
Probably. Oh yeah. Anytime that they can change the numbering to suit their price increase needs.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
So it's going to be all new number one, and then 10 issues from now it'll be Venom 300.
Well, 250.
250. Sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, there is an all new Venom. Now, for anyone who wasn't around for the past couple of months, there has been a series called Venom War. It's a big event. We got Dylan Brock, a Venom. We got an Eddie Brock, a Venom, and they're both fighting over the symbiote, which is named Venom.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. You go ahead and you describe it.
You loved it.
Describe it.
To me, it was you loved it so much you wanted to name your unborn child
Venom.
All new Venom War.
Yeah, I wanted to Venom War
Venom War
Bartocci. Venom War Dylan Brock the Third Bartocci. Yeah.
And so I didn't care for it, but at the end of it, spoiler alert, neither of them get it. Yeah,
I am to defend myself slightly. I was enamored with the wackiness of Venom War, right? It's the way that the book has become just a convoluted mess of 800 variants of symbiotes. They all have their own like secret history, and then we throw in like machinations of Doctor Doom and Kang across millennia, and the future Brock versus a past Brock, but the middle Brock with less of a soul is like it is the most convoluted, weird fucking book.
One of the things you should know about superhero comics, I think, listener, is that a lot of it is dumb as hell.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's just, does this dumb as hell speak to your appreciation of dumb as hell? And it didn't speak to mine, but you appreciated it.
I appreciated the framing device, and I thought it was a little fun, but I really do think that the finale was fumbled a bit to the point where I was like, oh, okay. All they really did was kick the ball down the road to this.
Yes.
And I will say this all new Venom number one, written by Al Ewing with art by Gomez.
Yeah.
Carlos Gomez. Is wacky.
It's
fun.
I loved it.
It's a courtroom drama, and it winks like so. The conceit being at the end of Venom War, neither Brock got the symbiote, and it was diseased with anti-carnage.
Sure, I don't know.
It was like gold anti-carnage, and then started to repel it, and any symbiote or symbiote born would be kind of infected with it. That's why it had to shoot out Dylan before it could infect him, and Brock is and Eddie is no longer connected to the symbiote anyway. So it just ran off. So we know anybody that read that, we know starting that this Venom cannot be anyone else that has ever been Venom.
Yeah.
By virtue of anyone that was bonded with him before would die from what it's infected by.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
At least that's how I read it.
I'm just catching up. Gotcha.
Will die. So it's a brand new character.
Yeah.
And
because of the codex, I imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're bonded with the codex, you're part of it, and then you're infected, so it has to be a brand new thing.
Oh,
and
okay.
because this Venom is the only one that's not connected, the only other one that's not connected to the hive mind, it also isn't infecting the whole hive mind.
Dope.
So it's its own thing.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It all tracks, kind of. Yeah.
I think Anti-Venom and Venom are not connected to the hive mind.
Yeah.
Agent, whatever. It's, again, wildly convoluted.
Yeah.
But the way that this book is kind of set up, it's a wacky courtroom drama.
It's a wacky courtroom drama. Who done it?
With
who is it?
Straight up suspects. Like,
I love that.
The book is talking at you, at the reader of like
we know
here's
you
suspect
don't know
number
who it
1.
is. Yeah.
But and like they have 4 suspects of who could be in the suit, and even 3 of them kind of come together towards the end of the book of like, yeah, one of us is it, right?
Yeah.
Who's not saying it?
This was great. I was really surprised because I had fallen hard off the Venom train after Donny Cates left, and this was just delightful. I love the old Marvel style. Who is it? Like straight up, like these are the suspects. This could be one of them.
Can we talk about the suspects? Is that a spoiler?
That might be a spoiler.
Is it? Okay.
They're because I didn't know going into this. I didn't know that there would be suspects. I had my idea of who it was, and I kind of thought it was obvious. But then I opened the book and went, "Oh, we're doing a whodunit. Oh, okay, cool." So I don't know if we want to discuss it. They are characters we all know. They are long-standing characters of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, old school Marvel characters. Pretty great. And then, so 90% of the book is this whole new status quo, and then we're doing a thing. And then it gives you a little coda of Spider-Verse and what's kind of going on with the previous stars of the Venom book, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
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 I think it's going to enrage a lot of
the guest appearances at the end.
Less fans of ASM.
Is that Wells Run?
Yeah. But this was a fun book. Now, I thought it was cool as hell. I don't know if I would recommend it to everyone because it is tongue-in-cheek weird. It's not straight. It's not linear action superhero comics, nor is it like the previous run, nor is it edgy like the previous run before that.
Yeah.
It is its own like weird tone.
It kind of feels a little like a She-Hulk book.
A little bit.
May.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you're totally right. It does.
Like there's humor and court.
And it's also really, really quirky. Like every single page seems like it's also kind of winking at you. Yeah. It's a pretty surprising book, and I do not know who Carlos Gomez is, but the art is really fun.
Really
fun.
I don't know who this is either, but and when I first opened it up, I was like, oh, it's a little Will Sliney, who I don't like. But then as I go through it, I'm like, oh man, this is really great. There is a bit of it's Will Sliney if I liked him.
I think the color. I think it's like Will Sliney with much, much better inking and coloring.
Yeah, this was delightful. I like the new, the gold look is kind of fun. I'm gonna read the next one.
We'll sample the next one. It's got promise. It really does.
This is pretty fresh.
But I like Al Ewing probably more than you do.
Much. I think this might be the only book by Al Ewing that I've been like, yeah, dog.
He tends to find a vibe and stick with it. And arguably longer than it should be stuck with. So I'm just curious because I really liked Immortal Thor when it first started, and then I vibed out. I really liked. There's a couple of other books of his. I think I only finished one of his.
There is one that I'm very actively excited to read, and I keep saying it and I keep not reading it, which is the Ultimates. The Al Ewing Ultimates with Disco Galactus for some reason.
Immortal Hulk was really, really great.
Oh, I started that.
Immortal Hulk was really, really great. I haven't finished the Ultimates. His Guardians was cool as hell. That was really, really great, where he actually made Star-Lord a Lord of Stars.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a cool-ass first issue, and anybody that is remotely curious, give it a shot. Yeah.
I concur, Doctor.
So let's go with a new number 2.
All new. DC All In. DC presents All In.
You want to take another cake?
Superman. Number 2. There
all new actually DC presents the man you love to know.
Yeah. Absolute Superman number 2. I was pleasantly surprised by Absolute Superman number 1 because I was not looking forward to that.
I was just surprised.
Yeah, not even pleasantly.
I was just pleasanted because I was excited for it.
And what did you think of this follow-up?
All these books are so good. So good. This is my second favorite now.
Oh.
I think it's better than Batman.
Okay.
But not better than Wonder Woman.
Tell us more.
So we learn a lot more about... So the last issue ended with Agent of Argus. What are we doing? Peacekeepers? Peacemakers?
Lazarus.
Thank you. Lazarus Company.
Yeah.
An Agent of Lazarus, Lois Lane, getting the drop on a power-depleted Cal.
Yeah.
And then cuffing herself to him.
Yeah.
So we get this very anarchy-laced meet cute and learn more about him in this action sequence and his kind of interaction with this suit and what he is capable of. And then we, out of nowhere, which usually would jar me, but it didn't this time, towards the end or towards the back half of the book, we get her internal dialogue doing a report about this experience. Having to write a report, which she hates. Yeah. She hates writing reports. Because she's a terrible speller. And it was just so... This was just masterfully plotted. Yeah, it's really just really, really strong. And
the art's lovely.
All the time we talk about show, don't tell, don't info dump. This is doing both at like really, really good measure where it's tons of information, but it's happening in such like really, really breakneck context of what he needs to do in the moment. Yeah. So like we learn about the suit and the cape in the context of action at the same time juxtaposing about like the history of blah, blah. Like this is just so, this is really good. Yeah. This is really good.
Jason Aaron is killing it right now.
Really
I wasn't huge on his previous Superman outing.
It was wacky.
Bizarro.
It was wacky and a little weird.
I like how we find out about the suit. I'm still getting used to the suit and how it works.
I think he is too.
Yeah. This Lois Lane, clutch. I love this Lois Lane. She won't stop shooting him in the face. Yeah. Even when you think she won't, she shoots him in the face. So that's like total Lois Lane to me.
I also think that it's so in this version of Absolute Superman, we have not seen or we don't have the Kents as part of his origin. Yeah. But the events with which he has come to Earth are just as formative, if not like soul crushing, which is really, really interesting to me. You know, like being an orphaned baby versus being an orphaned teen. Yeah. Wild. Absolutely wild.
Very Supergirl.
Yeah. Also, too, there's a scene in here where he, as a small kid in school, being told to use AI to do his homework. He was like, I wrote it myself. I'd rather write it myself. And I'm just like, go Clark.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes back
Cal.
Again at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Just all wonderful stuff.
Yeah, this was great. Another fresh AF. Also, I love how all of the artillery used by Lazarus says peace at all costs. Yeah. Like every bullet has peace at all costs.
Yeah, the Peacemaker Corps. And this was all really, really wonderful. So far, all Absolute books are bangers. Really good stuff.
Yeah. And the art by Sandoval, is that who it is?
Yeah, Rafa Sandoval.
Yeah. It's got like Mike Perkins elements to it. There's like a grittiness to it.
Mike Perkins without the bright whites or coloring, which it makes everything really gritty. Yeah. Like it's much more kind of vibrant.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the suit machinations. Like, oh, interesting. Curious to learn more about it. What would you say? Fresh AF? Pretty fresh?
I think this is fresh AF. I think, I'm sorry, did we do for Venom? Venom was
very fresh.
Very fresh. Me. This, I think, was fresh AF. All these Absolute books are really, really... They're not surprising me. Yeah. They're just validating my hopes.
I actually enjoyed All New Venom more than Absolute Superman.
Well...
It's like a tick below.
We'll talk about it again in issue 2, whether it does what you expect or it drops.
Hey, let's talk about Two-Face number 1. DC presents All In Two-Face number 1 by
Christian Ward and Fabio Veras.
With I've got the variant cover by Chris Somney. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone can see that.
Yeah, they love it. So Two-Face He's a Batman villain. He got splashed with some acid, and now he's got half a face and the other, and I guess 2 personalities. Sometimes, I don't know if it's consistent throughout all of Bat lore that he has multiple personalities, or if it's just like, my face is bummed out, I'm going to flip a coin. But here we've got like a multiple personality disorder situation.
I think
talking
it's
to each other.
I think it's always, it's either, there's always an other. It's just who's driving.
Yeah.
This though, his current continuity. I think if I remember correctly, it is his current continuity. He's quelled the beast, right?
I don't know.
I'm almost positive I read something recently. But yeah, it's depicted more as an actual like system.
Yeah.
Who's in control? Who's not here? Not just I can go off the handle at any time. Kind of.
Yeah. I remember like 15 years ago, there was a story where he was reformed and he was like helping Batman.
Yeah, it was Face to Face. That's James Robinson.
Was that it?
Yeah, it was good stuff. That was
pretty interesting. Okay, so reading this, I was like, this is dumb as hell. I don't know if I care about this particular setup of an evil. It's very Batman the Animated Series, where we're doing courtroom drama, but it's all villains. And I think it's a fun idea sometimes. I wasn't expecting it here. I don't know if I cared about it. I thought maybe it was a little too dumb for a serious Bat book. But then I got to the end and I went, oh, all right. Okay, dang. I kind of like where we wound up at the end of this.
So what you had said there, serious Bat book, I never once thought the word serious with this. No. Like, I don't think it's a serious Bat book so much as... So this is the second courtroom drama book this week, and I was not looking forward to reading this, but I thought it was fun as hell. Like this whole setup of there being a, what do they call it? What do they call the court? The White Church.
Yeah. This
court for villains by villains, and he is a prosecutor or defense. he's a public defender for.
There we go.
The White Church. I found myself really enjoying it. There's some like really, really fun courtroom drama antics / tropes like you would see on a dumb procedural by David E. Kelly or some crap, but through the prism of freaking bad villains. And it's really funny. Like, this was funny to me.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wasn't expecting that at all, and I think that's what excited me. Now, I don't think the art's particularly great. It's just fine. It's got kind of like a really flat Luna kind of look, like Jonathan Luna kind of stuff.
It's funny because I mean the Zaz looks like the East of West.
It's got some Dragotta. Yeah, but the coloring makes it flat though. Yeah. Like Dragotta, if he's given some shading, he's knocks it out of the park.
This is all very flat. Muted as well.
Yeah, so like with a premise this kind of wacky and a writer like Christian Ward, I really thought it would have a little bit more personality in the visual style, and it's kind of lacking that to me. And the end was really solid. Yeah. I really, really like that last sequence. We like the threads that were pulled during the courtroom are just kind of like all laid bare, and we're going to see what happens next. I think this was stronger than it needed to be. And I read Christian Ward's other work, City of Madness, I think, and it was just fine. Yeah. This is a much stronger script.
Yeah, I didn't read that, but I thought this was very strong script as well. Yeah, I actually enjoyed this much more than I thought I was going to. I think what I was getting at earlier was that this sort of setup feels like a Flash Rogues Gallery setup than a Batman Rogues Gallery setup. But once I got into it, I was fine with it.
Yeah, I think I probably just only took umbrage with the word serious, but I understand what you mean. Yeah, because there's nothing serious about this setup.
yeah, very, very silly.
But this was I think this was fresh enough. This was better than I expected. I don't think anybody that picks this up is going to be disappointed.
And it's a legit courtroom scene.
Yeah.
Like
There's
a reveal.
3/4 of the book is the third act of a television procedural.
Yeah.
It's very well structured. Yeah. Like, this is a strong script. It's very well structured. I think it does kind of miss on the art, but this is better than it has any right to be. You know?
I do like his Batman. A very Lee Weeks Batman. There's a couple of pages here where we're introduced to Two-Face and his background with Batman.
The whole opening sequence has more visual flair than the rest of the book.
It's got colors like I would expect from a Christian Ward comic book.
Yeah.
But not the inks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a gorgeous 2-page spread. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, this was stronger than I thought.
Also, I like the Judge. I like seeing him from year 2.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was pretty fresh.
It was pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Speaking of pretty damn fresh, we're going to hang out with the X-Men?
Yeah. And the Avengers?
And the Avengers. The Avengers, number 21, Legacy 787, by Jed MacKay and Valerio Schiti. Valerio Schiti of Empire and other amazing books.
Gods?
Yeah. So...
Avengers versus X-Men round 2. Man, I do not need an Avengers and an X-Men fight again. But I like Zeb Wells. I like Valerio Schiti. I've been meaning to catch up on the Avengers.
Zeb Wells, you mean Jed MacKay? Jed MacKay, who's writing X-Men right now too.
Sorry about that. But I was curious. I was like, I like Jed MacKay. I also like Zeb Wells. And I picked it up, and I was like, fine, whatever. And then it was awesome.
Yep.
It is not what I thought it was going to be.
Nope.
Much to my delight. I don't want to spoil what it is, but I think in the comic book world, along reading old heads like us, there was periods of time in the X-Men where we got a certain type of story, and we were like, oh, this is dumb as hell. But over the years, have grown to really accept and kind of cherish them, and sort of the interplay between the characters that setup provides. And we get that here. This was wonderful. A lot of great character work.
I got made fun of a couple years ago for making reference to these types of books. This like fifth week in between story arcs, kind of really fun.
Those are like my favorites.
Story. The character stories. Yeah, that's what this is. This is mashing the Avengers and the X-Men together by the same writer of each book. Yeah. And what has transpired too, it's very much setting up, hopefully, something that'll be knocked over much later down the road for especially for a writer that's architecting both of these books. Valerio Schiti, absolutely, he's just
killing it.
Just a goddamn murderer. It's just so awesome. This book is fun as hell. And honestly, this has been kind of the tone of the Avengers book this whole time. It seems it is always bigger than the issue. Like the style with which this book is kind of just rolling is, how big can we get? You know, like their base of operations, the former base of operations was a celestial hollowed out.
Yeah.
Now it's a sentient city.
Yeah. The impossible
in space. Yeah. Who is an honorary Avenger. The city is an Avenger.
Yeah.
Like the book just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's almost like the city's its own character. This was great.
And the issue before this too was so wild.
I didn't read that.
It is. How much of this book have you read? The whole
Volume 1.
The whole Ashran Combine and stuff.
Is that Volume 1?
The bad guys. They're called the Ashran Combine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then dispatched.
They get thwarted.
Yeah.
And then we had Blood Hunt.
Yeah. Which was very similar to Volume 1 with the Ashran Combine.
These are all events that were foretold by Kang to tell them.
Timeless.
Which is touched on here. The last issue, though, was so weird because it was Black Panther. All of these members of the Ashran Combine that they thwarted have been reckoned waste across the multiverse and other planets.
Oh.
And we're just next on the list. So he goes into the portal, the Fray or whatever, just to do recon of these other places that, now that they're not controlling it, what they're like.
Yeah.
And ends up leading a revolution and an army. And like, it's this crazy other subplot that just happened on its own of Black Panther pretty much building a new kingdom.
Oh.
And it's just one issue.
Okay.
And then we go back to here and it's just like, yeah, he's out doing recon. Like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys haven't been caught up yet.
He's over there.
Up to.
He's building Wakandas left and right. Yeah. But no, this is a cool ass book, and I think everyone should jump on it. It's only
this is a perfect jump on it.
3 volumes, but this is a perfect jumping on point in
I
general.
love Glob.
Glob is cool
He's
as hell.
delightful.
So what did you think of X-Men number 8, Raid on Grey Malkin 1 of 4? This is the first crossover of the X-Men books from the Ashes
Twixt
era.
X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. I'm one issue behind of Uncanny X-Men, though it is my favorite of the X books, mostly because of Rogue. And so anyone who doesn't know, Grey Malkin is the original Xavier Institute for Higher Learning.
Yeah.
Grey Malkin Lane is where it existed.
Yeah, it's just the road, yeah.
That's the long running address for it. And so the baddies, Orcus?
I don't know.
The baddies have taken over Grey Malkin and turned it into a prison. And at the end of issue 7, I think, Beast was yoinked at the very last bit, and so he wakes up in Grey Malkin, and the X-Men are like, "Let's go get him. He's our buddy."
I didn't read issue 7 or 6543.
Didn't we? Am I crazy? Didn't we talk about how, like, at the very, very end, there was like a stinger of Beast getting a bag put over his head and just like yoinked off screen? Oh, was was it Uncanny? Anyway, he gets taken.
I'm 5 issues behind on all of them, but I did read this. It's number 1 of a crossover. I should be able to find footing, and I did.
Yeah, very easy to move into.
Yeah, some X-Men are in prison. I know that the Grey Malkin estate is now a prison, and they're gonna go get him. Easy as that. What did you think of this book?
I loved it. I think I have been. I have been pleasantly surprised by a lot of the X books since the reboot after Krakoa, which I was not looking forward to. X-Men is great. Uncanny X-Men is great. What's her name? Psylocke is great. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, this is a really fun book. If I was gonna reading through this book the other night, there was something I noticed about Stegman's art, and it was really kind of bugging me. I've been reading Ryan Stegman's work for like 20 years, and there was something off. And there was something loose and muddy in some scenes, and he's typically not like that. So I was down a rabbit hole of actually looking up who inked and colored every single issue of this book that he's been a part of, and is like an extra inker now. And I think that is changing the aesthetic. Like, there's some stuff in here that I don't know. I think he's just a little bit better. Even the stuff that I don't like how sword.
I hate Psylocke's sword.
Goo. It's not even very well defined goo like it was in the first 2 or 3 issues.
It's like it's a sword wrapped in wet toilet paper.
There's just there was a couple of panels in here where I was just like, that's not.
That's not the Stegman
I don't think that's.
remember.
Yeah, I don't think that's the Stegman I love. This is like some of it looks like a facsimile of Stegman.
Well, it's funny because there have been fill-in issues that weren't Stegman.
Yeah.
But the guy that they got to fill in,
Netho Diaz. Yeah, he's great.
good Stegman.
Yeah, but like even that looks a little off compared to how he usually portrays it. Yeah, we're talking about the sword again. There's a sequence in here. In the first 2 issues, the sword had it looks. It's an interesting way to depict energy.
Right.
It looks like sinewy, like very kind of.
Yeah. But the problem is that it doesn't
tear at it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like energy. It looks solid.
His previous versions of it has more definition and it looks solid. This, it's like it wasn't inked or rendered, just colored
correctly. Yeah.
So things just look a half step off, and I couldn't get over it. Anyone else probably wouldn't have this problem, but the fact that I've seen so much Stegman, it was kind of bothering me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the story?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I like the story a lot. It
was fine. I don't know if this is. I mean, I understand everything that's going on, and it's pretty easy, but I don't know if this is as accessible a jumping on point as Avengers 21.
No.
This is still very much in the weeds. Again, it's not hard to contextually understand what's going on. Good guy in prison bad. Good guys break prison out.
Yeah.
Fight. But it does have a couple of like references where it's like, am I missing something more? which is good. It's fine. Yeah, I think this was fresh enough. For me.
I think it was pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I'm
on the X train recently.
not reading all the X books.
Yeah.
So. But what I am reading all of is the Ultimates.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimates number 7, written by Dennis Camp with art by Juan Freguera.
Oh, is this one
Fregueri?
Fregueri? Oh, okay. No, different guy. I'm thinking of the guy who's taking over the Turtles.
That's the last. I mean,
different dude. Right?
it's a different dude, but they have the same initials.
Names, yeah. Speaking of jumping on, I was like, who is talking here? It's Captain America and someone else, and it took me a couple of pages to remember. Oh, there's someone on the team that I forgot about.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't get an issue for him.
Right.
Like, he joined the team or was recruited in between issues.
Yeah.
Which is, any other book would probably annoy me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with it here.
Well, because it's a month in between issues.
Yeah, but it feels like time spent, and they do the work of kind of in dialogue or in context, just like, oh yeah, he's here now too.
Yeah.
Like, the last issue, we had a big melee.
That was awesome.
With 9 to 12 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them had their own issue.
Yeah.
Some of them just kind of became part of the Ultimates network.
Yeah.
Randomly in between shit, and we don't know about it, but it still didn't feel like I was missing anything, you know? So like I had no problem with it. But yeah, when we saw this like cool guy with the high top haircut, I was like, who is
right.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But this whole issue, not unlike when we talked about Avengers number 21, there are character-driven, in-between arc kind of issues to kind of reset the table, reset the stakes, introduce something that might come to play later on. This is very much the same thing, but in a very, very different way.
Yeah. Not fun.
This
is not fun like X-Men.
There are
Avengers.
some delightful scenes,
Sure.
but no, not fun. It's more... we had a minute to breathe after getting our asses handed to us, and how each of the characters are approaching that or dealing with it or moving forward from it. Some very well, some very poorly, some with new purpose. And I don't know, this book just keeps being so goddamn good.
It is very good.
It just keeps being so damn good.
I'm a little disappointed by the reveal at the very end of this issue, which I won't spoil, but otherwise, I love this book. This book's great.
I'm not disappointed by it, only because when reading the entire book, it was obvious how they mention things in dialogue continuously.
As opposed to past tense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this version of She-Hulk quite a bit.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
She's cool.
I also really... This is the first time we've got like an extended sequence with...
Hawkeye?
No.
Oh.
He had a whole issue.
Oh, that's true.
With Miss America, or America Chavez.
She's so cool.
Who is wildly different in this universe than she is from ours, or from the 616. And also towards the end of the book, it kind of... This issue, more so than any other issue beforehand, speaks to what I think is the mission statement of this book in total. And that's just so A+. It's just A+ writing, A+ construction. This is the best Ultimate book. Period.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah, this is the best Ultimate Universe book.
No, I'm sure we'll get flack for that.
No,
everyone loves the Ultimate Spider-Man.
I mean, I still enjoy Ultimate Spider-Man, but it's not doing the work nearly as this is the book I expected from Hickman.
Yeah.
That's actually doing like the big universe spine stuff.
I have thought that several times while reading this.
But again, I think that's kind of fun. Imagine if Hickman was just like, hey, Dennis, I love your stuff. Go do the big shit. I actually just want to play around with Peter for a bit. And I'll touch on your stuff here and there. But go build worlds. Have fun.
Yeah, it does feel very Hickman.
Yeah.
This is a good week of books.
It really was. It really is a very good week of books. Is there anything else we haven't talked about that you're looking forward to?
Oh.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm going to catch up with DC Presents All In Batman.
The final arc of Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he ends his run with 157.
Do we know who's taking over?
Yeah, dude. It's your favorite. It's the greatest return to comics that's ever existed.
Frank Thierry.
Hush 2.
Oh.
Which is only 6 issues.
Good.
I mean, I thought that they could at least
we gave up on
rock
last
10
Halloween.
to 12. Yeah. So apparently Hush is Hush 2 or Touche is going to be 6 issues. So I think that ends at like 64, 163, something like that. And then I don't know, maybe they'll relaunch whatever, I don't know, but we don't have information beyond that. And it's probably going to be late. So whatever.
Yeah. Because Jim Lee's drawing it too.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he had 3 years advance. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I also wonder if they will even bother trying to establish it in current continuity.
Is the Hush not in continuity?
Will Jeff Loeb bother
Right.
to reflect anything that's happened to Bruce Wayne over the last 20 years?
No.
That's what I mean.
No. Hey, is Bruce Wayne still poor?
He'll never be poor. He's
Remember
just not.
they took all his money.
They didn't take all his money. They took most of his money.
Which is he still leaves you with a lot of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he had ungodly wealth. Now he just has wealth.
I thought like a year or two ago.
Tynan like did all of his work. Like they took most of his money. He's no longer a billionaire. He's just a big millionaire.
Yeah, cool.
He still had tons of cars and stuff. He just couldn't waste it everywhere. Yeah. And he had to move from the mansion to the townhome. Who cares?
Yeah,
he's still rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He just doesn't have the hands or he didn't have satellites at his disposal anymore. More so than it's fine.
This Wednesday night.
Yeah, this week on the live show, we're going to be talking about the Gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
Gladiator 1 from 2001, Gladiator 2 from this year, as well as the unseen by almost everyone but me, Gladiator from 1992, a small boxing movie with Brian Dennehy and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Did you watch it just because it's called Gladiator?
I had seen it when I was younger about 1,000 times, and I saw it on Amazon. And I was like, yes.
Okay, fair.
So I've watched all the Gladiator.
Nice.
Yeah. So please join us. We're live Wednesday night, but if you can't catch it there, it's going to be on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, jump in the chat. We'll be hanging out. But before we run away for the day, we have not only an email, but also a comment from, where was this comment sent? It was on YouTube? Yeah.
Probably.
We have a YouTube comment about a previous show of Fresh Floppies, as well as an email. What do you want to do first?
Let's do your comment.
Let's do the comment. All right, so this is from Joel Bradshaw 6681. He listened to the podcast version and wanted to give some insight on Power Rangers Prime, the first issue with which we reviewed. This series is essentially the Power Rangers equivalent of the Ultimate/Absolute universe. The only existing characters from the Power Rangers series are Lauren, Orion, and the character at the end of the issue, ... Rita Repulsa. That actually was Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, we were both like, who's that lady?
This is a new take on the world with new potential for stories. What's fun is Melissa Flores, the writer, actually worked for Saban/Power Rangers for years in production and is very familiar with the brand and its various multicolored characters. It's fun as a fan to see her get to take different concepts and twist them into new forms. So first of all, thank you, Joel, for the context and the comment.
Love it.
We enjoyed Power Rangers Prime, but both of us are Power Rangers babies. We're newbies. I read the comic, and every time the comic veers into pulling from lore, I have a weird meme face of I guess I'll figure it out as I go. Mm-hmm. So I understand the original 5/6, but then all the way through Shattered Grid. Right after that was Beyond the Grid, and the entire cast was comprised of multiversal versions of the Power Rangers and different factions of Power Rangers, and everyone was talking in shorthand in their relationships, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell's going on at all. And I'm glad that this Power Rangers Prime didn't read like that, which I guess it wasn't supposed to if it's supposed to be a full-on relaunch. Yeah. This is really, really cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then Christopher St. Saucy sent us an email called Either Or. I'm going to guess your favorites and see if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
JD, Kyle Rayner, Noel, John Stewart/Kilowog. Is he correct?
No.
Kyle Rayner is my favorite.
Yeah, he's right about you.
He's got me.
I have a tie.
Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, we're talking about the Green Lantern.
Green Lantern Corps. My tie is between Guy and Hal.
Okay.
Yeah, on any given day, it's Guy or Hal.
Depending on how they're written.
Yeah.
They could go back and forth.
Guy, when he's written as a foil, I'm very bored with.
Yeah.
Guy, when he's written as the primary, trying not to be a foil,
Yes.
I absolutely adore. Yeah.
Was it Tomasi?
Yeah.
It was like Boston family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boston cop family.
Yeah.
Love that.
That entire Green Lantern Corps run that was aligned with John's Green Lantern book, that's my favorite era. I love John Stewart, but it's through the prism of how they used him in those big events, not necessarily John Stewart Green Lantern book. Yeah. I find John Stewart to be not unlike Punishers, or characters like Punisher, where it's like, God, they're so cool, but they're better as a rigid piece played against a looser piece or in an ensemble. Philip Kennedy Johnson just did a John Stewart book. I'll give it a shot. But
War Journal.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I've never been a giant fan. Whereas Guy and Hal, I'd read them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. JD, Wally West.
It's obvious.
Noel, Wally West.
Probably.
Yeah, same. JD, Damian, Wayne, Noel, Damian Wayne.
Dick Grayson all day. Are we only doing Robins, or does he not count because he graduated from Robins?
No, he counts. Yeah, Dick's a Robin.
What if we're just talking current Robins?
Maybe it just means Bat family.
Like all Bat family members?
I don't know, man.
All right, so look, if it's all Bat family members, Dick.
Yeah.
If it's or Barbara.
I like Babs and I like Tim.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna We're gonna qualify this. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Just Bat Family. It's like Dick number 2 with a bullet. Babs.
Yeah.
If
Together,
it's
powerhouse.
together,
I love them as a couple.
They could take on Bruce.
Yeah.
If it's just current Robins, because we currently have 3 Robins right now, 4, maybe 4. Then that's Damian, Tim. Or just Damian and Tim.
Is it just Damian and Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if we're I have trouble. I know that Dick was the first Robin.
Yeah.
I don't associate him as a Robin anymore. He's just Nightwing. So, but if we talk about the Robins, I'm thinking Damian, Jason, Tim, Spoiler,
Carrie.
Yeah, like
all the Robins.
Even a little bit of Duke.
Oh yeah.
And Maps.
Maps. Wow.
There's hundreds of Robins.
Yeah.
One Dick Grayson.
That's true. Yeah, I'm going Dick.
Dick and then Tim. For me.
Same.
Yeah,
for sure.
Damian's fun. But
JD, Ben Reilly.
Yeah.
Noel, Miles Morales. I do love me some Ben Reilly.
I really
literally have a tattoo of Ben Reilly on my arm.
I really like. Is Ultimate in play?
Sure. He has set no boundaries.
I like Ultimate Peter.
Yeah.
Ultimate Peter's my favorite Peter. Oh, original. Bendis.
Yeah.
Bendis Ultimate Peter is my favorite Spider-Man.
It's middle part Peter.
Yeah.
Middle part Peter. From the 90s.
Hair curtains. Hair curtains Peter.
Hair curtains.
Yeah.
Gross. Honestly, I had nothing better to write about for this email, but I missed last week, and I was originally going to bitch about Absolute Wonder Woman missing this month. But suddenly she's on a previews list, so we get her and The Last Halloween and Ultimate Black Panther and Void Rivals, plus it's previews week. Of course, you could skip this week altogether since it's a holiday, so who knows?
Nah, man, we're here.
Last week, yeah.
We're in it to win it.
Despite all the mic issues.
I love those questions, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just give us like qualifiers. It's very fun.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Did we talk about Wednesday?
Yeah.
Great. Well, join us on Wednesday. Hang out with us in the chat. We miss you.
It doesn't have to be Wednesday. You could join us whenever it's live.
And we check the comments all week long.
Yeah. So jump in. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Do-do-do.
All of divine.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcast, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.